Have a wine with Sydney food writer Lisa Diminor as we take you behind the scenes where the locals like to play.
Hi guys, I'm having an isolation wine with the woman who lives behind the scenes, the woman in the know, editor of lifestyle website Eat, Drink, Play, podcaster and co-host, the very cultured and civilised maker and creator, founder of Secret Foodies and Queen Bee of the underground dining world. Ms. Darlinghurst, aka Alex Adams, is your go-to source for what's happening, what's being served and what's being poured in the city. She's a girl with red dirt in her blood, a drink in her hand and always that gorgeous smile on her face. Alex, welcome to the series.
Oh, what a lovely intro. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alex, tell me about this social persona of yours, Ms. Darlinghurst, and how did you find a niche for secret dining experiences?
Oh, okay. So we're going back about 10 years ago now, and this was before blogging or Instagram. I think Twitter was the big thing at the time. And I'm a journo by trade, but when I came out of university, I really struggled to get a job as a journo, as a lot of people do. Yep. It's a tough industry. And I wound up working in sales and marketing for about 5 years. And then one day I just decided that I really wanted to write again. So I went on YouTube and learned how to build a blog. There's so many blogs out there now, but at the time, you got to think 10 years ago it wasn't. And I was still wearing a suit to work and had a bit of a corporate persona. So I came up with the alias of Ms. Darlinghurst.
I like it.
And by day I was Alex Adams wearing my suit, and by night I was Ms. Darlinghurst writing about bars and restaurants and cool things that were happening around Sydney on my blog. And then about a year into doing that, I guess I was looking for ways to connect people offline. And, you know, the red dirt mention is I'm from Broken Hill, so I'm from the outback. And I guess I was looking for ways to connect people. And my mum's Greek, so in our family, naturally, food is the way that we connect with people. And I decided to host a secret dinner party. And I just invited 10 friends, said, bring one person I've never met before. You won't know where you're going until 2 hours before when you get a text message with the location. Come and have a great time. And everyone did. We had a fantastic evening. It was Friday night. And then on Monday, I quit my corporate job. I was like, I'm going to run secret dinner parties.
And Ms. Darlinghurst was born. Well, you've always been a professional socializer, so Secret Foodies would have been a great outlet for you for meeting people and eating in unexpected venues.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. You know, I think I was born to be a food host. Like, I just love connecting people and sharing meals and making people feel warm and connected and a sense of excitement when they go out and dine.
Well, you're definitely the hostess with the mostess. Alex, tell me, what's the most random place you've held an event, or where's the most random place?
So 10 years ago when I first started doing, because we do a combination of events in restaurants as well as random locations, and it was probably 3 or 4 years into it, we did a really cool collaboration with the Secret Garden Festival, which is down near Camden. It's about an hour out of Sydney, and they had this beautiful heritage listed barn on site, and we did a pop-up lunch. We did a couple of them over the course of the weekend, a pop-up lunch for, it was like 20 people in this beautiful heritage listed barn. And it's a fancy dress festival, so everyone was in the most random, bizarre outfits in this gorgeous barn, eating, you know, slow-cooked lamb and beautiful, you know, really rustic pies. And I think that was quite a unique, interesting space that we popped up. It had so many challenges. Anyone who's ever done catering or pop-up kitchens will understand the challenges of no running water and electricity.
It would have been a logistical challenge, that's for sure. I think as a city we have so much choice and abundance that people want something makeshift or different, taboo, you know, underground, rather than the conventional dining establishments.
Yeah, I think so. But that said, you know, to adapt commercially and to be going for 10 years, it is really hard to constantly be doing pop-up events. So these days we have shifted, although we do random pop-ups as well. We've popped up on top of a shipping container at Trot Fest. We've popped up in laneways, rooftops. So we have done a lot of that over the years. But these days, a lot of our events happen in restaurants, or maybe it might be you start at a random location and then we take everyone on to finish at a restaurant. But what you'd find is it's not just sitting down and doing the menu that you would normally get. We challenge those chefs to come up with something different. So whether it was, recently we did an event and it was pig and swig. So it was like the whole menu had to be using pig and like non-traditional cuts of the beast and unusual dishes that you might not have seen. Or it might be coming up with a menu, like a fusion menu. We did an event where we got them to do a fusion between New York and Japan. So you had, what's classic New York dishes done with a Japanese twist. So it's a different kind of menu you can normally get out there.
So even if it's not a unique menu, it will be a unique menu and a unique feel just for that dining experience. That's awesome. Alex, how do you find out about these hole-in-the-wall or off-the-beaten-path places?
So, I mean, when I first started 10 years ago, it was just being really nosy and getting out there and keeping my ear to the ground. These days, I mean, Eat, Drink, Play has grown into such a big lifestyle website. We've got a team of writers on the ground in both Sydney and Melbourne. We get inundated with press releases, and we just tend to hear about things before the public will, which is really cool. But I think also just, being involved in different hospitality networks, and it's a very small industry. And so, one person will talk and then they'll tell you about their next project. So I think just having a natural interest in wanting to discover these places first, often leads to us getting a bit of a scoop.
Sure. Well, you definitely have your finger on the pulse. Have you ever had an event go pear-shaped, and how did you handle it?
Everyone always loves fail stories, don't they? Totally. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years. We've done hundreds of events. So yes, there's definitely been a couple of fails. Thankfully, any fails, most fails that we've done has been in the back end, and the customer has still had a good time. As you know, have a few glasses of wine and everyone's usually quite happy. But I did have one, and this was years ago, and it was kind of towards the beginning of when I first started. And I went and saw this. It was like a restaurant, but it had a cool event space connected to it. And when I went there, it was like an awesome wine bar. It's no longer around. It was in Sydney. It was like an awesome wine bar downstairs. And then upstairs was this really cool space. And the menu was like Middle Eastern. And we were going to do this amazing Arabian Nights experience. And the food was really good. Everything was fine. And then on the actual night, I don't know what the hell happened, but you got there and they'd had an issue with their grease trap. So when guests first arrived, it smelled awful, and there was no hiding it. Like, it smelled awful. And so people are having their glass of wine and canapes on arrival with this horrible smell. And then when we took
that fryer,
oh, it was disgusting. And then when we took them upstairs and the food came out, it was not the food I'd eaten or like kind of approved on the menu. It looked like I think maybe their staff had called in sick, and they'd called in like first year taste students. It was awful. And, people were still nice and drinking their wine and getting to know each other, but I was just mortified. I was like, this is not representative of Secret Foodies and who we are. Yeah. And so I trudged on with the event, but the very next day I sent an email out and I said, this isn't the quality that we stand for. Please, I'm giving everyone either the money back, or I would love it if you would come to another event. So here's a free ticket to come to the next event. And the response was so great. And people were like, oh yeah, we thought it was a bit off. It wasn't quite what we thought, but thanks for coming to the next. So I think shit's going to happen, like mistakes are going to happen, but it's how you handle it that
absolutely
kind of, yeah.
Handle like a true pro. Well, Alex, it's fair to say you live to eat, and I see that you counteract all that eating and drinking and breathing in grease with exercise. But unlike yourself, I've never attempted a marathon. So tell me, do you struggle with the balance, or are you pretty regimented with your routine?
I've always been a pretty active person. Also a little bit vain as a woman as well. I think yeah. I think I just always like looking and feeling my best. And yeah, you need to adapt. Early on, I remember when I first started, I put on lots of weight when I first started Eat, Drink, Play and Secret Foodies, because I was constantly eating. And, I think it's that uni mentality of, ooh, free food, and you're going to events. And then I realized you don't need to eat all the food and drink all the drinks. And I learnt the art of holding back and saying no. So, yeah. And then I also really like keeping active as well. I love running. I love, going to the gym. I find I clear my mind when I go and exercise, and that's often when I do my best thinking. So I think having a balance is really, really important, and something that, I've been lucky enough to figure out how it works for me.
Sure. Well, I think it is definitely a balance, especially as you say, you've been working. So if you're working, you're actually eating for that venue. And if I'm reviewing, I eat for the readership or for the venue. And those days are complete write-offs. Like, the diet goes out the window. You can't order for what you should be eating, like a salad or, a piece of fish. Alex, what bars will you be hitting up after quarantine?
Oh, all of them. I've been I don't know about you, but I've been super impressed with how our hospitality industry has adapted to COVID-19 and the fact that I can still get a lot of my favourite cocktails delivery.
It's incredible. I hope they continue with it after COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other day I ordered some Mexico, which is on Pitt Street in Sydney, and ordered some margaritas with my Mexican tacos, and it just hit the spot. So, yeah, I think any hospitality business at the moment, if they are scrambling and trying to put their takeaway menus, should maybe stop and have a think about how could I potentially turn this into a long-term business opportunity, because, there could be the opportunity there to do more deliveries once this all dies down.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later. What's your takeaway of choice for Eat Alone Together, which is a great initiative, by the way?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just felt so desperate to do something to help the hospitality industry. And a friend of mine in New York, he runs a bagel tour business, and he was doing, order a sandwich from your favorite takeaway store and let's eat eat alone together. And I was like, that's great. I'm going to do that here in Sydney. So last Saturday was the first Eat Alone Together. And I had, as I said, Mexico. So I had Mexican, and we also, Mexico and Indu, they're both the sister restaurants. So we had a pork belly curry, and we had some tacos, margaritas, guacamole. And this Saturday, I'm going to order Italian from Osteria Cucci, and they've got like this amazing gnocchi that I'm really keen to get. And they've also, they've got this really yummy bruschetta with like a sausage that I want to try as well. So I think we're actually quite spoiled right now. I mean, for the first time ever, you can get some of these amazing, you can get chin chin takeaway. Like, you can get so many great things.
I'll go to the Prince of York food truck that they're parked at Waverley this week. So I'll be joining you with Eating Alone Together. Finally, Alex, you've mentioned in your podcast that through boredom comes creativity and innovation. Are you bored? And if so, what are you currently working on?
Great question. Yes. So at the moment, until the 14th of February, I saw there was something online about a female founder grant that the government has. Wow. So this week I want to have a bit of a look into that further. And for quite a while now, I've wanted to expand Secret Foodies. We already do secret dining experiences for private groups. So if you're organising a hen's party or a birthday or whatnot, but I want to maybe expand that out a little bit further and create a separate brand, or maybe it's an extension of Eat, Drink, Play, where people can do experiences for groups that are related. So kind of like Red Balloon, but rather than just buying a voucher and one person gets to experience that, it's more targeted around to groups. Because let's face it, as soon as this COVID-19 dies down, people are still going to have birthdays, they're still going to have hens parties, they're still going to want to get their team together and celebrate in some way or another. So I think that's what I want to focus on for the next couple of weeks and try and come up with something different.
Plan your next outing with a vengeance. I think we're all going to go crazy when we can't get out. Oh, Alex, it's been so wonderful talking to you. You're a woman of many talents. Thank you so much for taking us behind the scenes.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Lisa.
Pleasure.
You're listening to Have a Wine, your audio review on eating, drinking, and taking the long way home. For guest updates, follow @HaveAWine as we chat to serious talent and industry insiders. Subscribe and stay curious, Sydney.